Imagine for a second there was a violent conflict involving Black African Roman Catholics somewhere in Africa. And to solve it, Britain decided to move those survivors to Italy, and in the process dispossessed Italian Protestants of their home and land. Sounds absurd? Right. Almost irrational, cruel, and unthinkable. Britain will never do something that reckless. Now stop imagining, because in Palestine, that is exactly what Britain did. And that's why Britain, more than any other country, should have been the first to recognize Palestine as a state, because Britain was the architect of this mess from the start.
Bosky, analysis.
In 1917, the Balfour Declaration promised a homeland for the Jewish people, in a land already lived in by Palestinians.
On November 2nd, 1917, Britain's Foreign Secretary, Arthur Balfour, wrote a letter that would set off a conflict still being fought more than 100 years later.
His Majesty's government view with favour the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavours to facilitate the achievement of this object.
When Balfour wrote of his government's intent to create a Jewish homeland in Palestine, 90% of the people living there were not Jewish. Just 31 years later, most of them were gone.
During the British mandate, deals were struck, borders were redrawn, and the stage was set for Israel's creation in 1948. But for Palestinians, that wasn't the birth of freedom. It was the beginning of exile, occupation, and 78 years of statelessness.
With the British on the way out, the Zionists knew they would have the strongest military in Palestine. Their forces were instructed to seize more territory than they'd been awarded by the UN, and to do what was necessary to reduce the number of Palestinians in it. In cities like Haifa, the militia set off car bombs in Palestinian neighborhoods. They attacked villages and forced residents out.
Haganah troops have driven the Arabs out of the beleaguered city, taking many prisoners.
After inspecting parts of Western Jerusalem that had been emptied of Palestinians, Ben-Gurion said,
"In many Arab neighborhoods in the West, you do not see even one Arab. If we persist, it is quite possible that in the next 6 or 8 months there will be considerable changes in the country, and to our advantage."
Every checkpoint, every demolished home, every child born without a country, all of it traces back to, at least in part, to decision made in London over a century ago. So when Britain, alongside Canada and Australia, finally recognized Palestine, it mattered.
In the face of the growing horror in the Middle East, we are acting to keep alive the possibility of peace and a two-state solution. That means a safe and secure Israel alongside a viable Palestinian state.
It didn't undo the pain, it didn't erase the injustice, but it finally acknowledged that Palestinians are not a problem to be managed, but a people with the same right to statehood as any other. And here is what makes this moment historic. Keir Starmer didn't just recognize Palestine. He did it while defying Washington. For decades, US policy has been to block, veto, and delay Palestinian recognition. Britain almost always fell in line. But not this time. This time, a British Prime Minister broke ranks and said, "Justice matters more than Americans' approval." That takes backbone. Now, let's be clear. Recognition won't end the occupation tomorrow. It won't stop settlement expansions. It won't heal Gaza's wounds overnight, but it does change the conversation. It strengthens Palestine's claim in international law. It puts pressure on Israel, and it tells the world that permanent occupation and apartheid can no longer be dressed up as self-defense. So yes, congratulations to Starmer. Recognition should have come decades ago, but history may judge this moment as the first step in Britain finally beginning to fix the injustice it helped create. Thank you.